Hello, everybody. It is April the 19th, 2020. On this episode of Wrestleview Weekly, oh boy, do we have a show today. Whew, oh boy. But before we do that, I got to get through all the prerequisites here. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. How was your week? My week was okay. Wow. Okay, so a lot of stuff happened last week, to say the least. Actually, a lot of stuff happened in the past 4 days. So more stuff than I really think in the last 4 days. We have actually, no, the past week, we have had more news involving the WWE in particular than any other time I can think of, within all facets of news that the WWE would ever have about itself. Okay. Any topic, anything about the WWE, there was a news item that would grab the headline for an entire week. But man, oh boy, there's a lot of stuff we're going to be going over today. But before I do that, I got to take care of the pleasantries as well. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. I see Mashoon. I see Hayden. I saw Randy. Who else is in there? I was talking to some of you guys there in the chat room before we got on here. We were talking video games and nerdy shit. I see Jamel. Who else is in there? I think I saw CJ. Yeah, I know CJ is in there. Who else is in there? Come on, you want to let me know right now. You are home. You're not doing anything. Come on. I see Bobby Strauss. Whee! Come on now. Come on now. You want to make yourselves be known. You know you want to. There's CJ. Got me a Sega Saturn and a GameCube, so I don't need my Wii. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You a smart cookie. You don't crumble. You're a soft bake. Right there is what you are. Anyone else in the chat room? I'm giving you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Everyone else is out protesting on the beaches of Florida. Yeah, Hayden. I've got thoughts, but no, this is not PolitiView. This is not Quarantine View. This is not COVID View. This is Wrestleview. Trying not to be divisive, I guess, though. Yeah, you guys probably pretty much know what my opinions are on that. Okay. On the show today. First off, only going to be covering one television show, and that's NXT, because I think some stuff happened on NXT that I, in particular, would like to talk about. There's particular debut, someone appearing on television for the first time, and also the second match of one performer that I really, really have been itching to talk about for the past 2 weeks. So, want to talk about that. And a third debut, another debut of a guy on the NXT show. Lewis in the chat room going, wee! So, yeah, we're going to talk NXT from last Wednesday. A ton of news regarding WWE's quarterly report, WWE's essential business moniker, and then backtracking on their TV scheduling to avoid further conflict with the American public. I'm going to talk about that. Several unfortunate passings within professional wrestling, including a key figure in the history of the WWE. What else is on the show? And I haven't even mentioned the big news item, okay? What else? A lot of rescheduling. a lot of changes being made to pay-per-views in general, not just from WWE, but AEW and New Japan. WWE making major changes to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's going to be coming up later, I think in the next 4 weeks. I think it's in the next 3 weeks or something like that. And then finally, and it coincides, well, also with the WWE milk carton, Wednesday. Some people are calling it Black Wednesday. I don't know what other moniker you can give it. Daniel in the chat room going, wee! I've called it, and we always called it around about this time, the WWE does it. It's called spring cleaning. Last Wednesday saw the largest one-day spring cleaning ever by the WWE, and it continued throughout the week. I believe if I counted right, and I will correct myself when we get to the story, over 20 full-time performers on the WWE's main roster, spanning Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, were released last Wednesday. This definitely plays into the WWE milk carton. It has shrunk significantly. So the milk carton is still here. Still be here. Lewis saying he really misses NWA Power. How about me? I miss NWA Power right now. I really do miss it. So going to talk about not just performers being released, but producers being released from the WWE. But the big thing that I want to talk about when it comes to this massive exodus that the WWE did of performers and producers is online throughout Twitter. If you were on the Twitter when this was going on, man, all kinds of emotion, ranging so many different emotions that you tried hard not to type them out yourself. And if you did, I hope you used correct wording and that you tried not to make yourself look like you were taken out of context. But so many emotions, so many spontaneous reactions, not just from the fans, but from the performers themselves, and we're going to talk about that as well. However, I am here to talk you all away from the cliff. I am here to be the one who I am way outside of the forest, while everyone else has got some tire swings and are slamming into branches in it. Okay? I am here to grab you all, pull you back, and go chill the hell out. Okay? This ain't the first time this has happened. Okay? And there have been bigger names released from the WWE at a certain period of time to where you can't imagine what everyone was acting like. In fact, there must have been as large of a reaction from this mass exodus that I'm going to be bringing up that, oh God, what are these people going to do? You're going to lose your crap on this. So I'm here to help you pump the brakes, rear back on the e-brake, get out of the car before you go off the cliff. So, all right, get that out of the way. Oh, sources. All right, time to go over the sources. I'm excited to show you guys this one. Okay, I'm really excited to show you these sources. The sources that we are going to be having today from the Chalice of Truth, the newly super glued Chalice of Truth. Chalice of Truth. Got right here. From the Chalice of Truth, we are going to partake from New Grass Brewery out of Shelby, North Carolina, which, hey, Doug, where's Shelby, North Carolina? Oh, it's in the middle of bumfuck. You wouldn't know. I don't know either. I really don't. We are going to have, and I believe this is apropos to have this today. Goose is in the chat room going, wee! We are going to have from New Grass Brewery some forced laughter is what this is. It's forced laughter. What this is a Berliner Weisse. And what a Berliner Weisse is a sour beer that originated out of northern Germany way back. I think it's a long time ago. Berliner Weisse is what it is. And what it is, it's a sour beer, but it's fermented with yeast and lactic acid. There's lactose in it, so it has a creamier look to it. It's a thicker beer, is what it is, but it's a sour, thick beer, is what it is. I guess that's the best way to put it. A thick, sour beer. And Lewis saying he wished the milk carton guy had teeth like this guy. You know, that'd be creepy. That'd be really creepy. That looks like a can to scare the stoners on 420. Yeah, it does. But this, first off, Berliner Weisse, a true Berliner Weisse, a thick sour, has a very low ABV. Okay, it never gets above 5. So this is very light. It's a 4.8. Okay, so we're going to indulge in this. But this is a Berliner Weisse brewed with raspberries and bergamot orange zest. So imagine a raspberry orange sorbet as a beer. That's what we're having. There we go. Can't wait to pour this guy. Oh, look at that. Look at that color. Look at the color on that guy. Oh, look at that. Look at the color on that thing. Look at the color on that. Oh, it's a deep, deep purple. Deep purple. Oh. Seriously, that tastes like raspberry sherbet. Tastes like raspberry sorbet. I'm afraid of setting down this glass because we had to super glue it back together right here at the stem. It broke. And so I don't want to rest this real heavy right now. So I'm just going to be sifting on this. I'm just going to be holding this like this through the rest of the show. I'm actually going to just keep this on camera throughout the entire show. Just to look regal, to look elite, to look like a pompous windbag, like I'm sure a lot of you think I am. But no, I'm not. I'm not that pompous. At least I don't think I am. Goose saying your arm will last 5 minutes. Well, that's why I'm going to exchange between the two of them. You know, I got another can to help me out. We got a fresh one here, keeping it in the Yeti. Keeping it in the Yeti. It's like a pimp cup. That's right, Jamel. It's like a pimp cup. You're not going to set this sucker down. Like the Xavier Woods mic grip. Love that shit. Yeah, I hear you, CJ. I hear you. Okay. Let's get on with this show. So we can get on to the real news and stuff. We're just kind of going through the motions here almost, it seems like. NXT. NXT was a very, very interesting show, to say the least, because there's a guy that I've been meaning to talk about for the past 2 weeks. A guy who has been hyped up and promoted with vignettes for the past 5 weeks showed up, and we had the debut of another guy. So, what's all this talk about the WWE hoarding talent? All right. Here we go. Let's have us some. Oh, look at that. Someone's giving Tomato Chomper a little hug. Probably helping him crack his back there. Well, that's a nice. That's nice little friend to do that for him. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So the NXT. Let's start this off with Fons Balor facing off against Fabian Aichner with Marcel Bartel in tow. I'm curious how Aichner and Bartel were able to travel overseas to do this thing, but yeah, that's what it is. And they're continuing this program of Fons Balor wanting to go against Walter for the WWE UK title. Problem is, the next NXT UK pay-per-view as far as we know, is not until October. So, you're going to continue to hype us up for something like that for another 6 months? Okay. But, no, it was a nice little wham bam thank you ma'am of sorts. We had a commercial break in the match, but Fons Balor doing his usual drop kicking of people that are not in the match into barricades. And Fons Balor would get the win. Yeah. A very, very hard-hitting match, to say the least. And that would be Fons Balor's first actual match since February. We've seen him on TV, but he's only talking and doing monologues. That's the first match he's had in the past 2 months. Go fig. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, yeah. Aaliyah versus Xia Li. Huh. Is Fonz a face or a heel, Jamel asking? I'm going to be brutally honest. I have no idea what he is. I really don't. I guess he's supposed to be a baby face, but he was a heel going against Johnny Gargano. But Johnny Gargano's a heel because he went against Tomato Chomper. I don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing about NXT is we don't know who the baby faces or heels are, and that is true for the Cheeto Munchers. The Cheeto Munchers don't give a damn about story continuity or character development. They just want to see no selling action. That's all. Aaliyah versus Xia Li. Building from a program that looked like it ended 6 weeks ago. Almost 2 months ago. Still going on the program that Aaliyah took a kick from Xia Li to the mush and broke her nose and kept her out of action for 4 months. And we're carrying on this program. Yeah, sure, why not? I've always liked, I am a fan of Xia Li. I think she's a great act. She's got a great look. She's good in the ring. I'd like to rescind the following statement. There's still work that needs to be done. God love her. She's got a look. The entrance is great. The music is great. Great emoting in the ring, but there are continuity problems. There's problem with continuity with her. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Mikey saying it best for me. I haven't seen a good Xia Li match yet. I don't know how much longer we're going to hold on. I don't know. Interim Little Critter Championship tournament match involving Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Akira Tozawa. The Little Critter Championship tourney thingy. We have got 8 performers that are in it in 2 groups of 4. And they're doing round robins in those 2 groups. And the winners of those 2 groups will face off to become the Little Critter champion. I hate tournaments. Always have, always will. This is right up the Cheeto Muncher and Do Chugger's alley. This is the kind of crap they love. Yeah. But the weird thing about this is that the records are going to matter in this storyline more than anything that's ever happened in AEW, and AEW cares about their records, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Akira Tozawa versus Swerve Scott. Akira Tozawa, just kind of floating Scott into the turnbuckles. A little trouble in paradise. Sure. Akira Tozawa would end up winning the match. Pretty decent match, to tell you the truth. Yeah. No, it's good. I hate tournaments, and I just don't like that I've got to think about that. A video package would air touting one of the performers in the tournament, El Hijo del Fantasma. Don't know him. He's apparently from Mexico with that kind of a name. Dressed in a suit with his lucha mask. I am very sure that he has got something to do with the abductions of Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. I've got a feeling he's got something to do with that. And we are going to have ourselves a mobster luchador faction going on in NXT. Any buyers? Any takers? I'll buy it. I love it. A lucha stable that is not something comedic or hokey or cheesy or campy. I'll take it. I will take myself an evil lucha stable. Yes, I loved the... Oh, come on. Help me out. The Mexicools. I loved me the Mexicools. As racist and stereotypic as they were. Love them. I'll admit it. And I think a lot of other people did too. But there's something about evil luchadors that I'm for. I'm for it. Especially when the people who are going to be in lucha masks are not Mexican. That makes it even better. Makes it even more stupid. So, yeah. Can't wait for that. Tegan Nox versus Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai in tow to further their little storyline that began with the number one contenders for the women's NXT title ladder match that they had last week. Tegan Nox, Raquel Gonzalez, of course Dakota Kai would get involved, but then Shotzi Blackheart showed up to even the score, and Tegan Nox would get the roll-up win over a distracted Raquel Gonzalez. Jamel saying, put R-Truth in the Lucha stable? Absolutely. Yes. Put R-Truth in the Lucha stable. Put people obnoxiously not Mexican in the Lucha stable. Put the Indian guys in the Lucha stable. I don't care. I really don't care. Okay, now, time to get serious here. Yes, there was a video package involving Keith Lee, whatever. Dexter Loomis in his second match on NXT against now who seems to be the new Jobber Delight on WWE programming, Tahuti Miles. Dexter Loomis. All right. Dyed blonde-haired guy with a very cute, skimpy blonde mustache, leather gloves. I think he wears a butcher's apron when he comes to the ring. He has got this cold-eyed stare that he just seems to do in the ring. He doesn't emote at all, that's fine for this character. If the character is not supposed to emote, that's fine, okay? But what I'm going to try to do right now is when it comes to the Dexter Loomis character, and granted, they did not do any hyping for this guy. In fact, this is only the second appearance he's made on NXT television ever. The last time he was on television before this iteration was their newcomer tournament that NXT had on the WWE network last year, and he was one of the performers. And of course, we knew that they were just going to keep everyone who was in it, okay? But how do we put this? This is completely different, kind of different from how he was in the newcomer tournament. But what's striking me about the Dexter Loomis and the character is the music. I kind of said, okay, I'm going to try to set this down. Okay, the Chalice of Truth is intact. Okay. I said before, when they were touting Dexter Loomis's debut in NXT, that what really mattered to him was the entrance. I got to hear the guy's music. I've got to see the guy's demeanor before anything else. This has got to be good. If you're supposed to be eerie, creepy guy, you better have the music to boot. You better have the look to boot. He's got the look, And the music, I'm going to play that for you right now. With this. Sounds a lot like Stranger Things, doesn't it? But I want to go back. Okay? I don't expect him to win all the time. Absolutely not. No, I don't expect him to win all the time, but I expect him to entertain. And we're going to get it with this guy. Okay? Good spine buster, great punches. His finisher seems to be a sit-out Uranagi, and then he chokes the guy out. Chokes the guy out into submission. It was just great. Totally buying this guy. Buy anything he's selling. Love it, love it, love it. And it was a much better match from him this time around than his first match. This match didn't last so long. Didn't let the other guy have any offense because you're supposed to be touting up Loomis. So, yep, there you go. Adam Cole does a vignette saying that he's hot shit. Velveteen Dream comes out, and there's a podium that he's going to speak into and says that he's hot shit. But then Finn Balor shows up behind Velveteen Dream, just says that he doesn't like Dream, doesn't know who he is, and up until this point, he's never said a word to him. But it's going to be the first. He says, when you want to talk about the greatest NXT champ of all time, you're looking at him. Ignorant comments will get you a date with the prince. Fonz walks off. And then Velveteen Dream just goes, well, how about you be a gentleman, Fonz, and pick the Dream up, let's say, next Wednesday night. So next week, we get Fonz Balor versus Velveteen Dream. Sure, I'll take it. Lewis saying Dexter's music is cool, but nobody's music fits his character. The way Marty Scurll, yeah. Oh, Marty Scurll music is great. Don't get me wrong. Marty Squirrel. I'm going to call him Marty Squirrel from now on. His music's great, okay, but he's not creepy. Marty Scurll is not creepy, okay? Dexter Loomis is creepy, all right? Quentin going, wee, just woke up in New Zealand. Oh, boy, you're far away. Wait, howdy there. Good morning. Malcolm Bivens is backstage referencing Johnny Gill in front of his massive tag team of Indian guys. Go figure. Yeah, I don't get it either. I'm sorry, Malcolm Bivens. This is real tough. Oh boy. Next week, 3 little critter matches in this little tournament thingy that they're doing. El Hijo. Phantasma is facing Jack Gallagher. Kushida versus Tony Nese. And Drake Maverick versus Jake Atlas. More to talk about Drake Maverick later on in the show. Also, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox are going to team up against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. All right. So Matt Riddle has to defend. It looks like has to be in a tag team match. They got to defend he's got to defend the tag team titles, going up against Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, not Kyle O'Reilly. Why not Kyle O'Reilly? News on that later on. Where the hell has Kyle O'Reilly been? Well, he's been on our milk carton, but you'll find out where he's been. So Pete Dunne, Matt Riddle's partner, is stuck in the UK because of travel restrictions and this whole spiky Nerf ball thing. And so Matt Riddle needs a tag team partner to defend the tag team titles, and Pete Dunne has found the perfect partner. It is Timothy Thatcher. Okay, he's not one for handshakes or bro fist bumps or anything like that. He looks very composed. I don't know who a Timothy Thatcher is. I believe he was in Ring of Honor or Evolve or something like that. I think he was in Evolve and one of their longest reigning champions, and that's where they take pro wrestling really seriously. They don't do a lot of character development. It's all about just moves and stuff and catch wrestling, technical shit. It's not about character development or anything like that. So, yeah, can't wait to see this guy in action. Throughout this match, we were told that Timothy Thatcher is one of the most scientific wrestlers that you will ever find. So scientific, in fact, that he will use the ropes to his advantage because he's not a very muscular guy. He's got a lot of cardio, I guess. I don't know. Sure. Whatever. But they would win. Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher would retain the NXT Tag Team titles. So, yeah, there you go. So, Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher are your Tag Team champions for now. Curious to see what happens when Pete Dunne is able to travel again. Finally, let's end this show with Tomato Ciampa backstage being forced to admit that Johnny Gargano is the heart and soul of NXT because he lost to Johnny Gargano in their brawl garbage fight that they had last week. So, Tomato Ciampa back here having to swallow his pride, and then someone helps him out if he was able to choke on his pride. Not able to show it here. I wish it was further on in the GIF. But then appearing after a fallen Tomato Ciampa would be a leather stilettoed boot to the left side of that monitor. And the face of... we don't know what his name is, but we know it's Killer Kross from old Impact Wrestling, who's been hyped up for the past 5 weeks. But we don't know if that's really his name, okay? It might be something else. But the stilettoed leather boot is Scarlett Boudreaux, who was also signed by Impact, who is the better half and significant other of Killer Kross. So, according to WWE Shop, it's Karrion Kross. Well, let's see here. Let's go ahead and do some fact-checking then. Is it WWEshop.com? Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do some investigative journalism right now. Kross. No. Where are you? Where are you? What are we doing? Ah! Here we are, Karrion Kross. Yep. There we go. Karrion Kross is his name. There we go. If you would like a poster, you can get one for $25. Ugh. You want that poster framed? You want that $25 poster framed? That's going to be $70. Women's t-shirt is $28. No, Ebony, we ain't going to talk SmackDown today. There's way too much news to talk about. Way too much news to talk about today to really go on to the TVs. We are just admiring the price of the new Karrion Kross t-shirt from NXT for $25. Jeez, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. What did everyone think of the show? 65% gave NXT a thumbs up. Yes. And which is par for the course because nobody watches NXT. What did everyone think of the battle between AEW and NXT? Check that out. 57% saying NXT had a better show than Dynamite from AEW. Who'd have thunk that? Who'd have thunk that? I thought I don't know what all the Cheeto Munchers are doing on Wednesday. They weren't on the Twitter. They weren't watching wrestling, I guess. I don't know. Or they just don't care because there's no live audience and no one to confirm how they're supposed to react to what they're watching. So, there you go. Okay. Enough of this tomfoolery. Enough of NXT. Enough of the television. It's time to talk all of the news that happened last week. Complete insanity. So first, want to talk about the serious news, a timeline of a lot of crud that's happening with the WWE business-wise, and then we'll get to what I know all of you want to talk about. Where's my news? Here's my news. First off, starting with the unfortunate passing of WWE's first and longtime ring announcer, Howard Finkel. He was the first ever WWE employee to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Passed away at the age of 69. His voice, iconic to anyone who's a fan of professional wrestling, period. Okay? He was a fixture of the WWF. God loved his voice. Just how he would put that inflection on new when someone would win the title. Really, really tough. It's a really, really tough day. Was Thursday was when he passed away. The WWE has this video compilation for that. I'll be honest, I have not seen this yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest and new Intercontinental Champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The winners of this
Best announcers.
And new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Christian and Edge.
He did have health problems, but I don't know what he passed away of complications of.
And the new World Wrestling Federation Women's Champion, Trish Stratus.
Some of his best announcements. Oh boy. Yeah, it's tough. This is a tough one. Not as tough for me personally as Bobby the Brain Heenan. That was my tough one. That was my really, really tough one. But Wrestling World reacting to the passing of Howard Finkel, Natalia, Natty Neidhart. We lost one of the greatest ring announcers of all time. Howard was the man who came up with the name WrestleMania, and he was one of the most beloved people in the WWE. Howard ring announced my dad's very first match at MSG. We love you, Howard. Impact Wrestling is deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Howard Finkel. We send condolences. Jim Ross. So sad to hear of the passing of my friend, the greatest ring announcer in the biz, Howard Finkel, at the age of 69. The Hall of Famer is now at ring announcing in heaven. No one was more loyal and loved pro wrestling more than the Fink. Kurt Hawkins. I'm going to dearly miss my friend Howard Finkel, passionate Mets and wrestling fan, an incredible soul. He's the soundtrack to so many of our childhoods. Nobody has ever done it better. Zack Ryder, R.I.P. Fink, the voice of my childhood. The NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, sends its deepest sympathies to the family, friends, and fans of legendary pro wrestling ring announcer Howard Finkel. Vicky Guerrero saying, I'm sad to hear of the passing of Howard Finkel. He was a gentleman and kind soul. I will always be indebted to him for escorting Eddie from Minneapolis to Phoenix after he passed. When he called me, he said, I don't want Eddie to be flown home by himself. Oh, boy. Bruce Pritchard, R.I.P. Howard Finkel, the greatest ring announcer of all time, historian and walking wrestling encyclopedia, Hall of Famer, loyal, great friend, love you, Fink. Jerry Lawler, first met Howard Finkel in '93 when I started working for the WWE, always the most helpful and genuine friend to everyone he came in contact with. My favorite day with Howard was when he and I attended a Cleveland Browns New York Jets game together. I'll miss you, Fink. Charles Robinson, Lil Nate out of Charlotte. I thought I was out of tears, but I was wrong. The news just keeps getting worse. I just heard about the passing of a wonderful human being and one of the greatest ring announcers ever, Howard Finkel. I'm going to miss that undeniable voice and his wonderful wit. Dolph Ziggler, finally, I saw a voicemail after a day of training at Ohio Valley Wrestling, and it was a call up to Raw. Howard Finkel spoke as if announcing a new world champion at Madison Square Garden, and I will never forget that, and his Welcome to the Jungle entrance is unmatched and sparked us all to have a great show. Goose brought it up, and I'm going to play it for you now. This is from Sam Roberts' Twitter account about the passing of Howard Fink. And here is a clip that he did an interview with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and Luke Gallows does this fantastic impersonation of Howard Fink as he is being called up to Monday Night Raw. So here you go.
Can you tell that story about when Fink called you and told you were working Kane?
Nope.
Please. That was great.
Yeah, I was in developmental, and I was 21, and they wanted to look at my character or whatever, so I get the 203 call, and I'm in the grocery store, and it's the Fink, but I think that it's a joke because he goes, "Hello, this is Howard Finkel." Excuse me, this is Howard Finkel. Oh man, really? Yes. You were booked on this weekend's live event series, and you'll be taking on Kane. But you're still going he's got his ring announcer voice on the phone. This guy's more awesome than I could ever imagine. So then he's he's doing the travel at this point. He's not ring announcing stuff anymore. So he's like, your hotel will be the Marriott, and you will pick up your rental car from Budget. So I'm going, okay, great. So then I'm like, okay, it's not a joke. This is great. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do my best. And then right before we hang up, he goes, oh, and one more thing. Watch out for that choke slam.
Then click, right?
Hung up, yeah. So I immediately called my trainer. I go, is this real? And he goes, yeah, it's real. You don't want to go? I go, yeah, I want to go. I don't know, man. Relax. It didn't sound real, though.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a great impersonation from Luke Gallows of Howard Fink. Nafisa in the chat room going, wee! Other unfortunate passings in the world of professional wrestling. Mexican luchador Black Demon passed away at the age of 39 due to complications from COVID-19. Superluchas.com confirmed his death, his real name Roberto Munoz Carrillo, and Boy E Lucha confirmed it as well. Black Demon is a Mexicali native that debuted in 2009 and performed primarily for local indie promotions in western Mexico. Back in February, Black Demon won the Copa Pendragon Rojo, which was the biggest win to date. Yeah. This has been a rough week, to say the least. And then on top of that, yesterday was the passing of AWA and WWC superstar Dick Steinburn, who passed away at the age of 86. He was a big star in Puerto Rico, is what it was. He started his career in 51 at the age of 17, retired in 85. He became a fitness instructor and gym owner. Steinborn won numerous titles, including the AWA tag titles with Doug Gilbert. He also had memorable matches against Dory Funk Jr., and he would in the late 70s, he would wear a mask and wrestle as the White Knight. This is something I'm definitely going to be checking out. Dick Steinborn as the White Knight. I think I'm going to try to look up some of his matches and check them out on here sometime. I'm really curious about him. All right. Enough sad death news. It's now time to talk financial death. The WWE declared their quarterly dividend Friday. They released two press releases to investors. The first announced the company's regular quarterly dividend of 12 cents per share for all Class A and B shares of common stock. The second presser announced that their annual meeting was adjourned due to COVID-19 concerns. The new date is set for May 14th, so no conference call until May the 14th. Yeah, so that's all they're really saying. That's all you got. You thought there was going to be more about the quarterlies? Not so much. Not so much. All right. It's time to talk about the absolute shit show that is WWE's television scheduling. So, last Monday, WWE announces that we are still going to be doing live taping at the Performance Center in Orlando. We're still doing it. Even though there's been a, stay-at-home protocol going on, suggestion from the governor. So, what are we doing? Well, Fox, USA and Fox, WWE says we're still doing live shows. We're still doing live shows. Come to find out that reports were coming out from, of course, Dark Overlord Dave Meltzer himself from F4W Online that USA and Fox had contracts that reportedly required the WWE to produce a set number of live shows. According to their report, the reason for this change was because USA and Fox only allowed a certain numbers of taped shows. What were they? USA allows 3 taped shows. Let us take a sip of the sources. Let's calm ourselves a little bit. Okay. The WWE has so far held 2 taped Raws at the Performance Center. I believe earlier this year they had another taped program coming out of the UK. So that is 3 taped programs already. You don't think the WWE was planning after this COVID-19 insanity to travel to Europe again sometime this year? You think they were going to do a live Christmas episode? A live New Year's Eve episode? No! Shut up! That makes no sense whatsoever. No! That's not the reason. That's not the reason they switched back to doing live shows. The reason they switched back to doing live shows, well, let's get into some other things, is because Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings stated that the WWE is considered an essential business. That's why they can perform live now. They're an essential business. That's and after Governor Ron DeSantis issued a stay-at-home order to prevent the spread of COVID-19, many wondered what that would mean for the WWE. Well, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings stated earlier that day, on Monday, that the WWE was considered an essential business. Full statement. Originally, they were not deemed an essential business. With some conversation with the governor's office regarding the governor's order, they were deemed an essential business, close quote. That's why they did their shows live. That's why they chose to do their shows live. On Tuesday, the next day, reports came out that the WWE was told to shut down operations by the Orange County Sheriff before the order was given from the mayor of Orange County that they could go ahead and they were deemed an essential business. The sheriffs were about to shut that sucker down till the mayor stepped in and talked with the governor and said, no. They're cool. They're an essential business. Why is that? Why are they deemed an essential business? Well, first let's get Ron DeSantis here on this. He's asked about this on Friday. Ron DeSantis commented recently about the WWE being named an essential service in the state of Florida, stating that the people are craving new content. Be careful about this quote. This is right here on the fly. This is not a written statement. He was asked this at a press conference. Governor Ron DeSantis said, quote, I think people are chomping at the bit. I mean, if you think about it, we've never had a period like this in modern American history where we've had such little new content, particularly in the sporting realm. I mean, people are watching, we're watching like reruns from the early 2000s, watching Tom Brady do the Super Bowl then, which is neat because he's going to be in Tampa, and I think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. But I think people, to be able to have some light at the tunnel, see that things may get back on a better course, and I think from just a psychological perspective, I think is a good thing. The WWE, according to Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, is essential because he's bored. The WWE is an essential business because the governor of Florida is bored. No, this has nothing to do with Linda McMahon's super PAC committing $18.5 million to Florida before they switched to live shows and were deemed an essential service, could it? According to a report by John Alba and Stephanie I hope I pronounced this right, Stephanie Cowano. Yeah. John Alba and Stephanie Cowano of Spectrum News in Orlando, on April the 9th, Linda McMahon's super PAC, known as America First PAC, which exists, they are helping out in the re-election of President Donald Trump, committed $18.5 million to Florida. That same day, the WWE was qualified as an essential service, putting it on the same level of grocery stores, hospitals, banks, and other key services. Vince McMahon reportedly made the decision the next day to tape the shows live. In defending the decision to have the WWE qualified as an essential service, state officials told CNN that professional sports and media production are considered critical to Florida's economy. America First Action PAC issued a statement that the money given to Florida was earmarked for advertising, $11.3 million to Orlando and $7.2 million to Tampa, which is considered Florida is going to be a battleground state. A spokesperson for America First Action spoke to ABC affiliate out of Orlando about the allegations and said that the ad buy was planned more than a week before the memo. They labeled any talk of impropriety as, quote, Trump derangement syndrome. end quote, and said that people were, quote, looking to connect some sort of dots that simply don't exist. When asked about this $18.5 million ad buyout to the Orlando and Tampa regions to the television affiliates for Trump re-election advertisements out of a Trump re-election super PAC, Governor DeSantis said about the McMahons, quote, "How have they ever supported me? I don't think they have. No, they didn't. People can look up anyone who has supported me. If there's no support, it'd be really hard to draw that connection. Not that it would be legitimate anyway. In this case, the factual predicate isn't even there." I don't know the McMahons. Vince McMahon, back last Tuesday, was listed as an advisor to assist President Trump in reopening the economy. President Trump even listed Vince McMahon as the great Vince McMahon, putting the WWE along the same lines as the MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, UFC. So, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. So, how are we going to save face here, Vince? How are we going to save face that the WWE is considered an essential business in Florida along the same lines as banks, grocery stores, and hospitals? You are just as important as them? Really? Really? You are deemed an essential business because the governor of Florida was bored, and that's it. It has nothing to do with an $18.5 million ad buyout to two of the biggest regions of Florida, which is a battleground state for the presidential election, by a super PAC for the president's reelection, headed by your wife, who used to be with the Small Business Administration's head a year and a half ago within the Trump administration. How do we save face? Last Friday, the WWE changed their television taping schedule throughout July to, quote, increase performer safety, according to Ryan Satin of ProWrestlingSheet.com and WWE Backstage. This has been confirmed by a WWE representative after his reporting. The WWE changed their taping schedule through July to, quote, increase performer safety. According to the report, WWE's health and safety measures at the Performance Center have continued to evolve, including everyone wearing face masks, medical screenings prior to entering the facility, only essential personnel, and, quote, pandemic level, unquote, cleaning. So they changed their taping schedule to save face throughout July. Oh, okay. So, I guess what that means is that if they're taping all the way to July, that means they've got to have television shows that are going to be in the hopper going into August, right? If they're going to be taping all the way to July, I mean, dear Lord, how many tapings can they do each day and give everyone 1 or 2 days off? Yeah, I mean, seriously, we're looking at television being done all the way to August, right? The very last day of television the very last week of television tapings held at the Performance Center. On Monday, June the 29th, 2 episodes of Raw are going to be taped. One for that night and the next one for July the 6th. Tuesday, June the 30th, 2 episodes of SmackDown, one for July 3rd and one for July 10th. And Wednesday, the 1st of July, NXT tapings for that night and July the 8th. the Performance Center is only going to be open 3 days out of the week, each week, to provide television tapings, is what they're doing. They're not going to be open every day. So, if I'm looking at this schedule correctly, this week the episodes will be live, and that's your final time you're going to see WWE television live for the next 2 months, 2.5 months. Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, April 25, 27, 29, 2 episodes being taped. They're taking 2 weeks off. Monday, May 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2 episodes of each show, taking 2 weeks off. Monday, May 25, 26, 27, 2 episodes taped, 2 weeks off. June 8th and 9th, doing some shows, take another week off. June 15th to 17th, 2 episodes for each show, 2 weeks off. June 29th, 30th, and 1st, 2 episodes. They may take another 2 weeks off. Taping resumes on July 15th. There you go. The only reason they're doing that is so that it limits the opening of the Performance Center to make it look like, again, they're adhering to the protocols of the stay-at-home order, even though they're deemed an essential service, but they're trying to save face because of the $18.5 million buyout for Orlando and Tampa advertising. Refill the sources because they are so good. That's enough talk about from me when it comes to the mess going on in Florida. It's a mess. An absolute mess. Can we talk about some different things? Oh, speaking of taping footage, the WWE is taping footage for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view at Stamford headquarters. The pay-per-view will be on May the 10th, so we're looking at about a 3 week build. We got 3 weeks to go. The match itself will be held at WWE headquarters. The Money in the Bank ladder match will no longer be the briefcase held high and someone has to climb a ladder to grab the briefcase. Instead, the performers participating in the Money in the Bank match will start at the ground floor of WWE headquarters and must fight each other all the way to the top of WWE headquarters to retrieve said briefcase. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's going to be so stupid. It's going to be so stupid. Love it. I buy it. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to fucking love it. SoFi Stadium, the brand new stadium for the LA Rams out of Inglewood, California, was set to be the site for next year's WrestleMania. WrestleMania goes Hollywood again. But it is not going to be open as scheduled due to COVID-19. The new opening date for the initial opening date was supposed to be well before. The new opening date for the stadium is July 25th of this year. It was initially scheduled for that, July 25th of this year. SoFi Stadium will not be open until March the 28th of next year. Well, no, let me backtrack here. The new opening date for the stadium is not known. WrestleMania is on March 28th of next year. We don't know what's going on with WrestleMania right now. We don't know where it's going to be. WWE is not going to adjust, WrestleMania goes Hollywood. It's staying that. They're staying in LA. they could go to the Staples Center. That's not a problem. They can do that. Could go to Oakland. The old Raiders Stadium. You know, they could do that. Angels, Anaheim. I don't know. There are a lot of options. But I'm just saying the WWE is not getting out of LA. XFL officially filed for bankruptcy last Monday and issued a statement blaming COVID-19. Sure. Yeah. Whatever. I didn't watch a game of the XFL. I'm sure it was nice. I'm not putting it down or anything. I'm just, I don't, sorry, I don't care. Let's start talking about superstars that are being accused of having COVID-19, and that's the reason they haven't appeared on television. Let's have some fun with this one. Last Monday, reports, Carmella had to take to the Twitter to shoot down false reports that she had COVID-19. And late last week, reports surfaced that an on-air talent for the WWE tested positive for COVID-19. We reported on that last week. It led every wrestling news site begging for attention to throw names out there of performers who haven't been on television saying they had it. Corey Graves, Carmella, Bob Lashley, Dana Brooke, you name it, they were all named. All of those performers appeared on television later. Sad. It's freaking sad. But Kyle O'Reilly, one who's now appeared on the WWE milk carton and has not been on television for over 3 weeks, we have gotten the reason why he's not on television. And it's because he is at high risk for COVID-19 because he's diabetic. I didn't know that he was diabetic, but that's all the more reason for him not to appear. So it is unfortunate, though, that he cannot appear on television. He cannot perform for everyone. He cannot travel. He cannot work because of his condition and doesn't want to risk his life. I don't want him to risk his life, so good on him to not show up. Unfortunately, he will continue to be on the WWE milk carton for as long as he is diabetic and there is a pandemic going on. The WWE and the Ad Council partnered together to raise awareness for COVID-19. They launched PSAs. If you saw the streaming concert for Global Citizen last night, WWE superstars were part of that via the pre-show that they did streaming live over Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Amazon Prime. Anything that they can do to try to save face and continue to be a face of American media, they'll keep on doing, just as long as they don't try to insert themselves into state governments to try to keep their business going and deeming themselves an essential business and trying to equate themselves to fucking hospitals. The Undertaker entered the All-In Challenge to benefit COVID-19 relief effort. Undertaker was nominated by Barry Vaynerchuk, the CEO of VaynerMedia, and he'll be auctioning off dinner for the winner and a friend, as well as a ring-worn jacket or coat from a pay-per-view he has competed in. According to the AllInChallenge.com, 100% of the proceeds from this auction will go to Feeding America, Meals on Wheels, World Central Kitchen, and No Kid Hungry. Get to bidding, folks. Get to bidding. Grab that $1,200 check and see what you can get with it. Time for some good news. Time for the only news that I believe that you need to hear. Titus O'Neil and Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Jameis Winston donated $25,000 apiece piece to Metro Ministries that goes towards food boxes for those in the Tampa Bay area, those families in need of food during this pandemic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Thaddeus Bullard, a.k.a. WWE Superstar Titus O'Neil.
And I'm Jameis Winston, NFL quarterback.
And we are proud to come to you guys today to announce that we are going to be donating $50,000. That's $25,000 from me.
And $25,000 from me.
To help support the great work with Metropolitan Ministries in feeding those in need, from staff members and paraprofessionals in our schools. The list goes on, but making sure the meals actually get into the hands of those families.
Partnering with Titus is just one small thing, because since I got here in Tampa Bay, even though I might not be here for a future football career, this man has been one of the best men that I've encountered since I've been here. So his morals, what we stand for, our heart, just trying to serve the people of our community. Even though I'm not the quarterback of this football team anymore, this is still my community, and I love Tampa Bay.
All right, so guys, thank you so much. For more details, please go to metromen.org or BulletFamilyFoundation.org or Jameis Winston's Dream Forever Foundation.org.
Why is that man not our president? Why is that man not our president, Titus O'Neil? I know why he's never been a champion. I mean, he's been a tag team champion. But why that man is not the face of your company right now, I don't get. I do not understand. I said it, I think I proclamated it and prophesized it 4 years ago or 5 years ago that I believed Titus O'Neil would be a world champion. And it's because of all of this great work that he does for the Tampa Bay area. Why isn't he a champion? Well, it's because he stinks in the ring. That's why. But the WWE can't let him go because, God, he's such a God-fearing man. He's such a philanthropist. You cannot lose this man. And this man can do no wrong. I was going to talk about other news, but no, I got to leave it at this. Why can't this man be president of the United States? I don't know. I guess we'll never know. News on the injury front. Apparently Samoa Joe has been, after dealing with his 30-day wellness policy violation, he is still not medically cleared from a concussion that he suffered in February. So that's why Samoa Joe has not been on television. That's why Samoa Joe has narrowly avoided the milk carton. So, looking at that injury list, Jinder Mahal with a ruptured patella. He's supposed to be returning very soon. Razar with a supposed torn bicep. He's not going to be back until SummerSlam times. Samoa Joe with the concussion. Not sure what's going on with him. Lars Sullivan, major reconstructive knee surgery on his ACL and MCL. Don't know when we're going to be seeing him. Xavier Woods and Ember Moon recovering from torn Achilles tendons. They will be back around SummerSlam times. Boa, torn rotator cuff and labrum. He'll be back for SummerSlam times. Fandango, dislocated elbow. Not sure when he's going to be back, but pretty sure he's too busy taping Season 3 of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. And finally, Jessamine Duke, dual reparative surgery on both elbows. She's not going to be back until maybe around SummerSlam times, maybe even until War Games. We're not sure. So, those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on television for, say, in television being WWE television or pay-per-view, haven't been on that for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. And it's a list only reserved now for actual full-time WWE employees. Hey, I know it's sad. I'm sad. But, guys, that means there's a new stalwart. There is a new champion. There is someone new that we can look forward to becoming a golden gallon on the WWE milk carton.
Oh, I don't smell like cilantro and salsa. I don't smell like rum. I don't smell like anything you find in Puerto Rico. I don't know where Arturo Ruas is from.
Let's kick things off with, I think we could call probably a brand new season of the WWE milk carton. An era has passed with the WWE milk carton, and it's now time to start anew. Okay? It's now time to start anew. Let's start things off with Cameron Grimes, who has not appeared since the March 25th episode of NXT, where he had a match against Tony Nese. Why? So we could keep thinking that Cameron Grimes is a thing, even though he hasn't been on TV for 3 weeks. And Tony Nese will be performing this week during the Little Critter tournament for the NXT, the thing. Killian Dane, haven't seen him in his receding hairline since the March 25th episode of NXT, where he faced off against jobber extraordinaire Tahuti Miles. I guess that match didn't work out so well. Shane Thorne, haven't seen him since he teamed up with some guy with the last name Vink to square off against the team of Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. Why? I don't know. It was a match to have, but it would be the first of 3 matches that Shane Thorne would have on all 3 programs. He would be on SmackDown the Friday prior, Raw the show prior, and this show. You got me. I don't know. Tyler Breeze, haven't seen him since that same episode of NXT where he faced off against Austin Theory to try to help make Austin Theory a really big thing. Austin Theory would go on to have his very first WrestleMania match and now be a mainstay on Monday Night Raw. Riddick Moss, haven't seen him since the March 23rd episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was in a video segment where he was pinned in the front lawn by R-Truth to lose his 24/7 title. Haven't seen him since then. We're going to be seeing this guy on the milk carton for a while, and man, oh man, is it creepy. Roman Reigns. Haven't seen him since the March 20th episode of SmackDown, where he signed his WrestleMania contract to face Goldberg for the Universal title, and he most certainly did not. Braun Strowman would face Goldberg and win said Universal title. Roman Reigns, burden, unfortunately would not show up on television and will not be showing up on television due to the complications of COVID-19 and him. Let's just go ahead and face facts. No, we don't want him to die. Jeff Hardy. Though we've been airing segments on SmackDown to make you think that he is a Hall of Famer and all-around good guy, and sometimes he steps off the ledge every once in a while, but he gets himself back up, only to fall off the ledge again and try to pick himself back up. He hasn't been on TV since March 13th after he returned from injury, reparative knee surgery, and during that time was convicted of drunk driving right here in my home state down a highway not but 10 miles away from me and passing out drunk in a stairwell in Myrtle Beach. I give him 2 months. He ain't going to last long. Kyle O'Reilly just said we haven't seen him since the March 11th episode of NXT where he and Bobby Fish went after their rematch for the NXT Tag Team titles against Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. He cannot perform in the Performance Center, like I said, because he's a diabetic and COVID-19 is an asshole. The grizzled young veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson. Haven't seen them since that same episode of NXT on March the 11th, where they blasted Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle from behind after their successful victory. We had been building them up for the month prior that they are a big deal coming out of NXT UK, and yet we have not seen them since. Raul Mendoza, haven't seen him since that episode of NXT where he had a match against Kushida, he lost, and then some guys in lucha masks grabbed him and chucked him into an SUV. AOP, I am counting Razar in this, haven't seen them since the March 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where they were part of an 8-man tag team clusterfuck Teddy Long special. That also involved Murphy and not Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode hasn't been seen since the March 8th Elimination Chamber, where he took part in the Tag Team Elimination Chamber match thingy to determine the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. He must be stuck in Canada or something like that. Shorty G, haven't seen him since the March 6th episode of SmackDown, where he was in the locker room trying to convince Apollo that he needed help to face Sheamus. Someone find him some help. We haven't seen him in over a month. Marina Shafir, haven't seen her since the March 4th episode of NXT, where she shoved a stick through a cage to help Roderick Strong lose to Velveteen Dream. What is she doing? She's too busy showing off her abs and working out with her husband in Florida. Swerve Scott had a match. That didn't count. Curtis Axel, haven't seen him since the February 28th episode of SmackDown, where he had a match against Daniel Bryan, and Drew Gulak was on commentary trying to coach Curtis Axel in his match against Daniel Bryan. Someone coach Curtis into figuring out where the camera is. Mansoor, haven't seen him since February 27th at the Super Showdown pay-per-view thingy in South Dakota, where he is originally from, where he had a match against Dolph Ziggler, which further signifies and credibly affirms that he only performs in South Dakota. Bronson Reed, haven't seen him since the February 26th episode of NXT, where he had a match against Killian Dane in a way to try to rekindle the magic that big men matches have, a la Keith Lee and Double D. That didn't work out so well. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he got squashed by Keith Lee in 25 seconds. Akira Tozawa had a match, that's my bad. Casey Catanzaro, haven't seen her since the February 5th episode of NXT, where she had a match against someone who is not on my thing. Mercedes Martinez. She faced off against Mercedes Martinez, did Casey Catanzaro on the February 5th episode of NXT. No, Kona Reeves did get released. See how much crap has happened? It has screwed up my milk carton badly. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to redeem myself right now. You know what? I'm going to redeem myself. We are professionals. Yes, we are. We are professionals. How about you? And so I am going to right now clean up a little bit here. Don't mind me. Kona Reeves is not on there. Oh, let's see. And I'm going to add one more because I made a picture of her, and that's Mercedes Martinez. I am going to make up for this. That's what I am going to do. No, I'm not. I don't have a picture of Mercedes Martinez. Oh, well. Oh, that's right, because I put her in my database, but not in the Photoshops. So, I'm going to fly through this. Mercedes Martinez is now a part of the WWE main roster officially. So her and Casey Catanzaro are officially on the WWE milk carton. Shelton Benjamin, haven't seen him since the January 26th episode. It's not an episode, it was the Royal Rumble. He was duped by Bork Laser. Vanessa Bourne. Haven't seen her since the January 15th episode of NXT, where she was in the Battle Royale thingy to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, which would be won by Bianca Belair. And she would lose that said title opportunity at NXT TakeOver Portland. Mustafa Ali. Haven't seen him since last year, December the 27th, where he was on an episode of SmackDown saying inspirational shit. What happened to the guy with the computers that revealed that that Sonya Deville was a jerk? We haven't seen the hacker since 2 weeks ago. I don't know. God. All right. Gotta limber up for this one. The Ikonics. We have not seen them since the November 25th episode of Monday Night Raw from last year. Hey, Kayla! They were too busy trying to sell us shit from WWEshop.com. You gotta be joking me! There you go. All right. Jamel nearly had a heart attack thinking the Ikonics got released. Nope. Ikonics are still around, still kicking. And they have new pictures. I've just been too lazy to put them up on the milk carton. Bo Dallas. Have not seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown from last year, where he, Curtis Axel, and Drew Gulak were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman. Guess is as good as mine. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new stalwart of the WWE milk carton. It's going to be a while until he hits Golden Gallon status. Probably going to be another 5 months until it happens. But maybe you can count down with me. Arturo Ruas. Have not seen him since the debut episode of NXT on the USA Network last September. He faced off against Pete Dunne to let us know that Pete Dunne is a thing. And apparently it worked. Wow. Imagine you haven't seen a guy since the debut of a show on a network. Whew. Doug, what happened to all the other people that you used to have on the milk carton? Funny you should ask. As if you've been living under a rock. A lot of people were given papers last Wednesday, and throughout the week. Everyone had a lot of feelings, and I'm here to tell you right now, get over yourself. All right. Seriously. People had all kinds of emotions last Wednesday, okay? Everyone having all kinds of feelings. Sad for people, angry at others, disappointed, frustrated, trollish. First, I'm going to give a very, very quick take of mine. Last Wednesday, we saw the release of many, many performers from the WWE. If your response to it is, oh boy, I wish they'd let this person go. Why'd they keep that person but let go of this person? Man, I can't wait until this person's released. Hey, remember that thing? He should be released. She should be released. Anyone asking for anyone to be released while others have already lost theirs can go lick a door handle. I'm surprised this person's there. That morning on Wednesday, the WWE issued a press release announcing measures being taken by the company in response to COVID-19. They evaluated its operations and came up with a few short-term cost reductions and cash flow improvement actions. This included executive and board member pay being reduced, cutting talent expenses as well as third-party staffing and consulting, deferring spending on the build-out of the new headquarters for the next 6 months. There's a new headquarters being built, and they are stopping the construction of it for 6 months, people. Furloughing part of the workforce effective immediately. The press release from the WWE stating those said that these measures would save the company $4 million monthly, with $140 million being freed up mostly from the deferral in spending on the new headquarters. The decision to furlough rather than permanently reducing the workforce shows the company believes the furlough will be short-lived. Vince McMahon would reportedly held a conference call with company employees shortly before this press release was issued. According to PW Insider, the meeting lasted less than 5 minutes and reflected most of what was said in the press release. McMahon did state that employees would be notified via text message of their standing in the company. According to PW Insider. Because we got to find a way to make this look as dickish as it could be. But my company is doing the same. The company that I work for, we publish two dirt racing magazines. We have our own streaming service which shows races, and we do voiceover work for the races. We do commentary on the races. We do interviews with drivers and owners. Our company, we had to make cutbacks. We just fired our TV producer who makes well over a ton of money. It saves us a ton of money. So we had to release him because we have no new footage coming in. All of our editorial and freelancers are taking a 10% pay cut. My managing editor is taking a 10% pay cut. My social media person's taking a 10% pay cut. So, this is not new, okay? This is not new. This is not dickish. This has to be done. And so, after the press release, the pebbles started rolling down the hill, and they soon became boulders. Gallows and Anderson, Drake Maverick, Lio Rush, Kurt Hawkins, and EC3 were all the first to be announced to have been released from the company. Gallows and Anderson were just on WrestleMania, assisting in the AJ Styles Undertaker match. Twitter was going bonkers. Why did they let go of them? They were just on WrestleMania. What were they doing before that? Does anyone remember what Gallows and Anderson had been doing for the past calendar year? They have been protecting AJ Styles. They've just been doing six-man tags. For a hiccup, they won the Raw Tag Team titles, and that's about it. What more do you want? Drake Maverick hadn't been doing anything. The last time we saw him on television, he was asking Drew Gulak if he could have a match with Daniel Bryan. That was March. Lio Rush, we haven't seen him in the ring in well over 2 months. Kurt Hawkins, he was too busy getting dumped on his head by Drew McIntyre. Better yet, being dumped on his head by anyone else in a handicap match. I think it was Bob Lashley. Yeah, Zack Ryder was in a match with Bob Lashley, and he was sitting at ringside. That was over 2 months ago. EC3 hadn't been on a wrestling match on TV or pay-per-view since last June. And that was when he was part of the biggest battle royale ever coming out of Crown Jewel in South Dakota. So, stop it. More names started coming down the pipe. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. You shouldn't be shocked by that. Veteran referee Mike Chioda. Mike Chioda hadn't been on television for roughly 3 or 4 months. He's been with the company for well over 30 years. He's not really physically able to referee anymore. Also, leaving the WWE, Heath Slater, who hadn't been on TV since the beginning of February, where he was in the same boat, I believe, with Drake Maverick, having a match against Daniel Bryan with Drew Gulak on commentary. Eric Young, the only times he had been in the ring were twice where he was taking a powder to Aleister Black, 2 matches in the past 5 months. Sarah Logan, that's a name that I was surprised at. Sarah Logan's name showing up really surprised me because she was just on TV last Monday, getting her elbow caved in by Shayna Baszler. For the past weeks, dating back to January, she was regularly on TV about once every other week, trying to build her character. And I thought she was doing a pretty decent job building her character as a very feral, wild, untamed creature is what she was supposed to be. But I think it was the random howling before a match that did her in. She kind of was doing some things that she really didn't need to. And I guess WWE just saw something that we didn't, I guess. Also, Aiden English released by the WWE. He was a color commentator for 205 Live. Then, let's keep the ball rolling. Later on that day, Eric Rowan would be released by the WWE. 5 repackages for this guy. 5 repackages. Why is anybody shocked? Mike and Maria Kanellis finally get their release after taunting about it, after reports about it for so long. They finally get their release. Mike Kanellis didn't really do much. The debut was fantastic on SmackDown, but in the ring, he would go into rehab for alcoholism and then come back and do only matches on 205 Live. Not much after that. Maria Kanellis would have a baby in her belly twice and didn't do a goddamn thing in the WWE. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And also during this span, the Golden Gallons, the stalwarts of my WWE milk carton, Primo and Epico Cologne, were also released. Primo and Epico Cologne had not been on television in over a calendar year. Epico Cologne hadn't been on TV since Survivor Series of 2018. Ugh. But the big name that came out of all of this was Rusev, released by the WWE. Look, I know when he debuted, I marked, I love him. Foreigner heel, sign me up. But since then, I don't know what to make of him. All the weird stuff that he's doing on Twitter, all the weird stuff he's doing on Instagram, I don't know. Something happened. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in his personal life. I don't know. But one thing I do think He needs to jump on the Ritalin train. Yeah. I think he's a little spontaneous, a little impulsive, a little hyperactive. You'll see what I mean coming up later. Also, 9 WWE producers released, including they might have been either furloughed or released. 9 WWE producers, including Finlay. Those 9 producers were Fit Finlay, Lance Storm, Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, Pat Buck, Sean Daivari, Scott Armstrong, Shane Helms, and Sarah Stock. If you don't recognize some of those names, Sarah Stock was Sarita from TNA. Yeah. Right now, we don't know right now who has been furloughed or released. Yeah. So. More NXT releases would happen the following Friday. Names that would pop up on here: Tino Sabatelli, Cesar Bononi. Those 2 names you would not know because they were on the main roster for NXT but never appeared on television. Taynara Conti, finally gone. Dorian Mack and Mars Wang. Also confirmed were NXT coaches that were furloughed. Those would be Kendo Kashin, Serena Deeb, and Ace Steel. So, the list grows. And then reported also that day, Cassius Ohno has either been laid off or fired, and 7 more NXT performers have been released. Those performers, here we go, Mohamed Abdel Fattah, or known as Mohamed Fahim, in training. Marcos Gomes, he was a Brazilian talent that was signed in May of last year. Faisal Kurdi was signed last June out of Saudi Arabia. Edgar Lopez, Mexican talent, he was signed in September of last year. Hussein Aldagal, he was a bodybuilder out of South Dakota, signed last June. And Yi Fang, known as Rocky in NXT, he signed way back in September of 2016. So, progressing NXT talent released. All in all, almost 50 talents or producers were let go. Well over 20 full-time main roster performers were released. To top all of this, Drake Maverick, after being released, would post this video on the Twitter last Wednesday.
I just got off the phone with WWE Talent Relations' Mark Garano that has told me that as of today, I have been released from my WWE contract due to the current climate.
Yes, Goose, and Diana Parazzo was let go as well.
I'm like everybody else, where I probably didn't take this as seriously as it is at the beginning, but it's affecting people's lives, it's affecting people's jobs, it's affecting the way people make a living. I'm very fortunate that WWE is still allowing me to compete in the NXT Interim Cruiserweight title tournament, but it's very likely that those will be the last matches I ever have. There's a lot of people I'm not going to get a chance to say goodbye to that I really loved and I really cared about. That made me a better person. And again, I'm very fortunate that I still get that. Other people won't get that. But if these are the last 3 matches I have, I just want everybody watching at home to know that you'll have my all. You'll have everything. It's not about a title anymore. It's about my life. It's about feeding my family, paying my bills. So if I don't make an impression, if I don't win, that's it for me. So I just want everybody to know that you're all going to get everything I have.
Yeah. Sorry if the audio on that was really low, but that's how it was. Yeah. So Drake Maverick would post that video, not but less than an hour after news came out that he was released from the WWE. So, with that being said, here are all of the immediate responses from the talents that were released on Twitter. Kurt Angle, I wanted to say thank you to the WWE for the time I spent there. I made many new friends and had the opportunity to work with so many talented people. To the superstars, continue to entertain the universe as well as you possibly can. They're the best fans in the world. Zack Ryder, the only thing I wanted to do in life was wrestle. I'm grateful I spent 14 years living my dream in the WWE. Thanks to my fans and everyone who believed in me. As I was getting released, I was looking at this photo and smiling. I'm always ready and beyond excited for the future. Yeah. Kurt Hawkins, last time I got fired, I had a really funny tweet in response to it. Doesn't really feel appropriate today. I will say this, a lot of very talented people lost their jobs today, and out of this disaster, the pro wrestling community will rise stronger than ever. Heath Slater, I know everyone is waiting to hear my response to my release from WWE, but after 16 years, I'm going to need a little more than a few hours to really digest all my thoughts and emotions. For now, thank you all for all of your kind words and support during this time. No Way Jose was released as well. He had this message.
So, as you might have heard, I am no longer with WWE. So I want to, just take this time to say thank you for everybody who reached out to me so far. There's a lot of you. Thanks for being fans. Thanks for whether you cheered for me, booed for me, danced with me, thought it was silly. Just thank you for making it all worthwhile. Thank WWE and everybody involved, everybody in the back. The locker room's amazing, stories for days and memories. Gonna last forever, and hopefully this ain't the last time you see me. You never know, but with this pandemic, everybody just stay safe. It's affecting lives all over the world, and just stay safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones, and just take this thing seriously. I didn't know going to Raw, this last time would be the last time for a while. I would let it soak in just a little bit more, but. Until next time, it's your boy No Way Jose. But thank y'all for everything. Peace.
Yeah. Mike Kanellis.
So I wanted to put this video out while thoughts are still in my head. I just want to thank everybody. Maria and I got released today from WWE, and it sucks. We didn't see it coming, but there were a lot of talented men and women today that got released, and my heart breaks for them because I know them. I traveled the road with them. They're super talented, but beyond that, they're good humans. They're good people. They're family people. They're hard workers, and I'm so proud to call them friends and co-workers. But thank you to all the fans and the supporters who have been there with me and Maria for as long as we've been doing this and have been there since I started at WWE or even before on the indies. I love you guys. You guys have poured on this love and support that I'll never forget. I will never forget. And these times are tough. They're hard. But we're going to be all right. We are. We're going to get through this. Maria and I, we will get through this. We beat my addiction together. We will beat this. Maria and I are raising a family together. There's nothing we can't do. And, you know, I know it's cliche. I know it's corny. But it's so true. It doesn't matter how hard you hit. It matters how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's what it's all about. Life will constantly knock you down, but you have to get back up and move forward. You have to keep going, because what other choice do you have? You know, my wife just took Carver to his doctor's appointment today, and he's healthy. 2 months old, and he's super healthy. Freddie's upstairs sleeping right now. She's super healthy, and that's all that matters. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank the McMahon family. I want to thank Triple H. I want to thank everyone who let this little kid in a grown man's body live out his dream. And I want to thank all the fans, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. I love each and every one of you.
There you go. The immediate replies kept coming. There's his wife, Maria. I'm sure she said more of the same. I'm going to be honest with that. Be honest with that one. She probably said more of the same, and there's even a part 2. Lio Rush, after his release, would release this little statement via little picture. Little picture. Do I get the picture? I want a picture. There we go. He would release this. I want to take this moment, said Lio Rush, to reflect on everything that I've been through since being employed by the WWE. The journey, the major downfalls, the uphill battles, the triumph, the recovery. I've been through so much during my time. I've learned, I've grown, I've adapted, I've overcome. Thrown to the wolves, emerging leader of the pack, and I'm going to be brutally honest. It's just more of that. I want to skip that one that I just saw. Fit Finley, to all my friends, fans, and family, this is a crazy time, and I want to say thanks to the WWE Universe and everyone I've ever shared the ring time with, working with, or teaching. Stay safe, especially to all the amazing girls and women I've had the honor to work with. Stay safe, y'all. Lance Storm, my best to all who, like me, lost their jobs today. To those still on the job, hold down the fort for us. It was my pleasure to work with you all these past 4 months. I hope we all get a chance to work together again. Stay strong and stay safe. Scott Armstrong, this virus has claimed thousands of lives and thousands of jobs. Today, the landscape of the WWE changed forever. Some of us were furloughed and others released. Today, I'm grateful for my health and my family and my friends, and this too shall pass. Sarah Stock, we're all a family, and that's never been more apparent than right now. Love, gratitude, and respect. Shane Helms, thanks everyone for all the great messages. I truly believe that this is just temporary. There are many people in this world in far worse situations than I am, so please don't worry about me too much. I'll always be the hurricane. I'll always just a tweet away. Love you all. Diana Parazzu, the people closest to me know this is something I've been struggling with, wanting for the better part of the last year. Happy to say I gave this journey my best and more excited for the future. The one message that I skipped was by Rusev. With everyone else's statements and replies and heartfelt video messages from those that we thought were maybe taking the WWE for a ride to those that were incredibly heartbroken, Rusev could only say, thank you all. Rusev out. Which again leads me to believe there's a lot more going on the other side of that than we probably know. Yeah. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. So much emotion, so much outpouring of respect for everyone and their jobs that they had. The internet blowing up, blowing a gasket, pulling out their hair, pointing fingers at Vince McMahon and the company after they showed record profits. How could they let go of all these people? Surely they could have kept them on. oh God, these times that we're in, how could they do such a thing? Every company is doing it. Every company is cutting people's salaries, cutting expenses, and laying off and furloughing. Maybe you identify with them because you know someone who themselves has been laid off or fired. It's close to home. It sucks. But it needed to happen. I'm sorry. I am so sorry that it's pulling at your heartstrings and you were emotionally invested in all these people to give you entertainment. But I just went through the entire list of people. Most of them hadn't been on TV for over a year, or 6 months, or 3 months. I'm sorry, but that's what you get. People have an account and say, oh, why'd they keep Lars Sullivan then? Go lick a door handle. Oh, I can't wait until they get rid of Baron Corbin. Go fall asleep on a set of railroad tracks. Shut up. Don't need any of that. And a lot of other heartfelt messages will be brought out, especially by Seth Rollins over Instagram, saying that everyone should band together and this is a time for perseverance and togetherness and yada, yada, yada. It's business. It's how it works. I am sorry to be the shriveled up carrot in your peach cobbler, but that's how business is. That's how it works. I'm sorry. Doug, you wouldn't be talking like this if it happened to you. It has happened to me. I'm a victim of the recession. I know what I'm talking about here too, okay? I've had my job lost because of it. Come on. I want to take everyone right now to a simpler time. A more, I don't know if you want to call it a fragile time. But I want to, if I'm going to act like a curmudgeon, back in my day, venture with me to the past. Now, granted, last Wednesday's mass exodus from the WWE was the largest one-day releasing that they've ever had. I want to take you back to a simpler time. We had an internet. We had pro wrestling websites. We've had this. Spring cleanings are nothing new to the WWE. Everyone should know this as an internet wrestling fan. You have been anticipating this day. Since 2 Fridays ago, after the revival was released, there were 162 performers on the main roster for the WWE. You should not be shocked by this. Back then, in the simpler times, we had rosters of maybe only 100. But those simpler times, we also had the power of the internet. These are incredibly amazing times that we are in, that you're living in right now, that we are living in. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic. We have, with the ability of a device, as big as an index card and as thick as maybe 2 or 3 saltine crackers, with this little device, you have the ability to communicate to anyone in the world without anyone else asking for it. With this little device, everyone who has this device, or maybe a bigger device like I'm on right now called a computer or a laptop or whatever, with this device, you can communicate to anyone in the world, like I'm doing right now. like how Drake Maverick and the Canellises and No Way Jose, like how they did. An ability like this could only be explained by someone 30 or 40 years ago as a superpower. In this age of instantaneous broadcasting and instantaneous communication, reaching throughout this entire sphere of blue and green, you are able to do so. Broadcasting, communicating, spontaneously letting people know how you feel. 40 years ago, the only way that you could do that is if you had a degree to be able to operate one of these things or be good looking enough to be in front of that thing. To broadcast to at least within your own community. Video killed the radio star. Fucking internet's killed everything. Anyone could be a journalist. Anyone can be a disc jockey. Anyone can be a video jockey. Anyone can be an entertainer. Anyone can be a celebrity for the stupidest of reasons. Anyone now can instantaneously broadcast how they feel about anything. A superpower regarded 30, 40 years ago. I want to take you all back to a simpler time, but it's not too simple. It's not too far off. In fact, there was an internet back then. July 5th and 6th of 2005. That's Monday and Tuesday. July 5th and 6th of 2005. A little less than 15 years ago. These 2 days combined would be the biggest mass exodus of WWE talent. Want to go through some names? Sure. Mark Jindrak was released. He was at one time, he was supposed to be the face of Evolution. Remember that? He was supposed to be, it wasn't supposed to be Randy Orton. It was supposed to be him. But Mark Jindrak was released from contract. Maven, the winner of the very first Tough Enough competition. Remember his memorable elimination of The Undertaker from the Royal Rumble? He was released from the WWE. Shannon Moore, where he teamed up with Matt Hardy, V1. He's kind of Matt Hardy's lackey there. Yeah, he was kicked to the curb. Jimmy Wang Yang. I think James Yoon is his name. What an eccentric character this guy had. What an eccentric. I loved this character. He was released on the 5th, on that Monday. Gangrel, released from the WWE. He was brought back for a little bit of a hiccup to do some cameo roles, but he kind of filled what Kurt Angle was doing. He was released. Billy Kidman, the performer, not the producer, the performer, was released on July 5th, 2005. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Spike Dudley was released on Monday, July 5th of 2005, which led a lot of people questioning some things that would be happening. Why did they release him? Best was yet to come. And Kevin Fertig was released on July 5th, 2005 for his first release from the WWE, where he played Mordecai. I loved this character, but he was incredibly green in the ring. He was very anxious. He had a lot of nerves. He had a lot of anxiety that he just could not get over. So he was sent back. He would be rehired by the WWE in the repackaging of ECW as Kevin Thorne, where he'd be a vampire guy. much like Gangrel that they released that day. Those were the releases on July 5th of 2005. Once again, think about these names, okay? And you can almost look at similarities, okay? You can see some similarities in the people that were let go. You know, talent that you hadn't seen for a long time. Talent that had potential, or you believed that had potential, and were wondering why in the world didn't they give them more time? It's like they were hoarding talent, even though their roster was only 100 and something deep. They even let go of Hall of Famers, or, you know, not Hall of Famers, but I mean big names, you know, that you thought were big when you were a kid. You reveled in them. You cherished them. Why'd they let them go? WWE is so angry and so mean. Why can they only think of the bottom dollar? Why can't they give people a chance? They gave them all a chance. They had been on the roster for over a year, 2 years. They couldn't make to snuff. They couldn't work to par. They had to let them go. Recession was looming. In 2 years after that, the recession would hit. So, that was Monday. Who was released on Tuesday? Jackie Gayda. She was the wife of Charlie Haas. She would be only in the ring for a couple of minutes. Hey, she's got boobs. Matt Morgan. If there are so many talents that the WWE has had that you thought would have unlimited potential. Mark Jindrak was one, Sean O'Hare, Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, those big studs. Nope. Nah, Matt Morgan, no. He would go to TNA and win stuff and be a thing there and be called the Blueprint. Now he's the mayor of a small town in Florida. So, more power to him. Dawn Marie. Back when there wasn't women's wrestling, there were valets. There were divas. There was women's wrestling, but these were more valets than anything else. There's a lot of eye candy. Joy Giovanni. Huh? Sure. I don't know what she did. She's got boobs. Kenzo Suzuki and Hiroko. Married Japanese couple that came in. They were released soon after they tried to pair Kenzo Suzuki with Rene Dupree to be some kind of tag team. That really didn't fly. The whole Kenzo Suzuki Hiroko thing just really wasn't flying. But there was still one bomb to be dropped. One more shoe to let crash to the floor. Dudley Boyz were released on that Tuesday, July 6th. And it sent shockwaves. Yeah. In the following days after July 6th, more releases would come. Jim Cornette would be fired out of OVW after he had been assaulting performers there that he was supposed to be training. Yeah. Jim Cornette fired from a wrestling company. Who would have thunk that? Marty Jannetty would also be released on July the 6th. This would be immediately following being arrested for a domestic dispute, which would have followed after he violated his parole from his first DUI. In the span of 15 months, he would accrue 3 DUIs. He was the Jeff Hardy of our time. Yeah. So all of these performers, hey Jama, wee! All of these performers in the span of 2 days, July 5th and 6th of 2005, were released. Imagine you, a wrestling fan, at your age right now, or whatever response you gave on the Twitter during this, okay? Wouldn't you have the same fervor, the same vehemence, the same compassion for all of these performers 15 years ago? I mean, again, put yourself, again, what were you doing 15 years ago? How would you let the world know how you felt about the release of the Dudley Boyz? You had watched them in ECW. You followed them throughout the WWE. They had those great matches against Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. God, TLC, blah, 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 blah. Get the tables. Mae Young powerbomb through a table off the stage. How could they let these guys go? I've got to let the people know. I've got my keyboard right here. I got to let the world know. You couldn't. Twitter wasn't founded until March the 21st of 2006. But I gotta let them know. I gotta let the people know how angry I am. Why didn't they release everyone else? Why are they giving that asshole John Cena a chance? I gotta let them know. I gotta have an avenue of some kind. Facebook just started February the 4th of 2004. But I still gotta let them know, Doug. Vince McMahon's an asshole. How could he let go of Gangrel? I loved his entrance. His entrance was so good 3 years ago. God! Oh, I gotta let them know. MySpace was founded less than 2 years prior to all of their releases on August the 1st of 2003. MySpace did not have groups. You could only follow each other. These are amazing times that we live in. To where you have the ability to broadcast spontaneously, unannounced, to everyone all over the world. And you can do this without even thought or hindrance. Not even think about it. Just do it. Not even worry about consequence. "2005 was a simpler time where you had, I guess, that, but you could only do it via your keyboard. There wasn't really streaming. There wasn't really YouTube. There wasn't Twitch, that's for damn sure. Only the select few had a webcam. Only viewing at maybe 2 megapixels. You had Wi-Fi, but God, what are you, made of money? These times of July 5th and 6th of 2005, where these performers were let go, would everyone be just as angry? Oh, but Doug, you're trying to compare then to a pandemic? They're both for the same reasons. It's been done before. The WWE has released talent every year in large clumps for the past 25 years. This should not be a shock to anybody. You want to feel sorry for people? That's fine. Be sorry that they're let go. But for the love of God, don't drag some company through the mud. Why they have to do it now? Yes, they have to do it now. The company and their financials are on the line. This has happened before. And it will always happen. Every year, every 3 years, people are released. Sometimes they're rehired. Case of the Dudley Boyz. So, I think what I'm really trying to say here is I can only handle so much sympathy. Okay? I really can. I can only handle so much sympathy. And don't get me wrong. It sucks that you lost your, it sucks that you were released and that you lost your job. Okay? But sometimes you got to question how everyone was within the company and what their intentions are. It sucks. It sucks that all of these fine performers and producers are not with the company. But for the love of God, don't act like this has never happened. Don't act like this never happens. With great power comes great responsibility. And Twitter and Facebook, the avenues that everyone goes upon to let their opinions be heard and let out their emotions and then become shocked when people realize how stupid those emotions were. Come back to roost. Come back to haunt you. It sucks that it all happened last Wednesday. It really does. I don't like it that Rusev was released, but now I'm really just questioning things. It sucks. It really does. But it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. I am sorry to be evil capitalistic scumfuck today, guys, but a little bit of cold water needed to be thrown out onto some people, I think. Sorry. And I thought we also had to go trip down memory lane on probably one of the most memorable WWE spring cleanings in memory. And that was that one in July 5th and 6th of 05. Yeah. So that's going to do it for Wrestleview Weekly. Yeah, good positive note there to leave on, Doug. Maybe it's because the sources were only a 4.8. I guess that's why we got angry. I know, Willie. I know, Walkie in the chat room. We can agree to disagree when it comes to this issue. Yeah. I don't ask everyone to ever agree with me, and I'm open-minded, you know. That's a big difference between me and a lot of other people is I always enjoy discussion about any kind of topic. I will never personally attack if we disagree. I want to know your viewpoint, you know? Just be logical about it and don't insult me, okay? We see that a lot online, and I think that's because of Facebook and Twitter. The people don't know how to actively engage in discussion, and it's only because you've got a device to do it, and you don't realize that there's an actual person on the other side. So, again, thank you all so much for stopping by. Tomorrow night, Mike and Victoria, Raw recap. Live Raw show where I'm sure they'll talk just as much as I am about all of this crap that's been happening. Yes, Saturday afternoon, Wrestleview News with Jerome and Mikey. talking about a lot of news I'm sure that's going to be sprouting up this week, the aftermath of the releases and everything else. Lewis, thanks for the hell of a show, dude. Yeah, dude, appreciate it. And as always, next week, here with me, Wrestleview Weekly. There was a pay-per-view that happened in Japan with DDT where they fought throughout some business towers. I gotta find me some of that shit. Anyone with connection to DDT and the recent pay-per-view that they had over the weekend, send it to me. I gotta get me some of that. In the meantime, I'm not sure what we'll do. I might break out the whiteboard. We might watch some old wrestling. I don't know. If you got any ideas of matches that you'd like for me to watch and we just laugh at, send it to the handle at Doug Wrestleview on the Twitter. Just as long as you don't. No, you do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. There you go. So, all right. Anyway, thank you all so much for stopping by. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't be an asshole. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Don't be a jerk. Think about others before yourselves. Don't go to the beach. And don't protest. That's the most selfish thing you can do. And as always, I say it all the time. And it means so much nowadays, especially, as always, know when you're being sold to.